So before we start, I'd like to ask you to imagine something. Imagine waking up 5 times in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, to feel the same urging sensation, the willing to pee, without being able to do so, or going over night after night after night. Imagine avoiding long flights, or when you do take a flight, you choose the worst possible seat of an airplane, the one closest to the bathroom, because you know you're going to go there often during your flight. So if you're a man, congratulations, you have a prostate. And if you have a prostate, that means you don't need to imagine those things. All you need to do is wait your turn until the prostate is big enough so you experience those by yourself. My name is Gilad, and I'm the CEO of ProArc Medical. And at ProArc, we're developing a fast, easy, long-lasting solution for BPH, which is enlarged prostate. So what is BPH? Basically, it's a non-cancerous enlarged prostate that blocks the urethral path, preventing from urine to flow through it. It leads to various side effects and uncomfortable symptoms such as urinary urgency, frequency, nocturia, which means waking up multiple times at night, and if untreated, may lead to irreversible damage to the urinary tract and urinary system. It is very, very, very common. In fact, it happens to 50% of men over 50 and 90% of men over 80. So basically, I'm developing this for myself. Now, there are over 100 million men worldwide who suffer from BPH. The industry is big and the market is constantly growing, much like our prostates. So how do you treat BPH? And I'm focusing on minimal invasive surgical treatments. The gold standard today is tissue surgery using a procedure called TURP. Basically, it's an approach that says no prostate, no problem. So you remove the prostate from within, enucleate the prostate, or use some other kind of treatment. We at ProArc call this prostate tissue abuse. So you inject steam, you use laser, whatever you can to harm the tissue, damage the tissue, and open up the urethral block. Now, those solutions lead to medium to long-term relief. However, they do come with other side effects and problems, such as sexual dysfunction, take longer time to recover, sometimes it's painful, and it's irreversible because once you harm the tissue, it doesn't grow back. Then entered new solutions to the market, mechanical dilation of the prostate. Let's call those shifting the curtains aside, basically pushing the curtains of the prostate aside and letting urine flow. So you can use stents, in theory. Those are low risk, fast and simple to deploy inside the prostate. The problem is that they offer short-term solution and they suffer from migration. They tend to move as the prostate moves, and they suffer from incrustation because exposed parts of the stent that are metal get calcified over time and causes damage. So another solution, a very successful solution that was introduced in 2017 by a company called Tract, UroLift. This solution offers sutures, also a low-risk procedure for a medium term, better longer term than stents. But unfortunately, in real-life data, we can see that in 5 years, there's about 30% retreatment rate when using sutures. And this is not a good news. I mean, no man wants to hear his urologist saying, this was a wonderful procedure, very successful, let's do this again in a couple of years, right? So, in addition, this solution is also not reversible and requires a large and difficult learning curve. And we at ProArc see this as a natural evolution in the mechanical dilation of the prostate from stents through sutures to implants. And we designed the world's first mechanical implant that is fully metal to be embedded inside the tissue of the prostate. So in this way, we try to find the next generation of long-term solution, maintaining the low-risk approach of dilating the prostate mechanically for long-term, doing a fast and simple procedure, but also having a durable metal implant, avoid migration incrustation by having it implanted inside the tissue and having it full reversible, and I'll show you how. So this is our implant. We call it the Omega implant. You can guess why. We intend to put it in the center of the prostate right here to open up the lateral lobes and apply constant pressure to open the lobes. And this will give us a long-term solution. And what we do is we create an incision around in the prostate, and we release this implant into the pocket that we created inside the prostate. That way it's anchored inside, it can't move, and it's not prone to incrustation because it doesn't experience urine flow. Now, I'm going to need a volunteer because I want to demonstrate on stage, preferably a man over 50. No, okay, no, I'm kidding. It's insurance wouldn't let us do that. Thank you, Ehud. But let's show how it works in animation. So this is the delivery device. It's visually guided using a standard cystoscope. You go to the center of the prostate, find the blockage area. This is our implant. It's wound around in the center of the shaft. We use a balloon to inflate it and put it in place. We create then an incision using a specific electrode designed for it. Release the implant. It's a spring-like bouncing into the pocket. And then we deflate the balloon, return the sleeve in place, pull out the device. The entire procedure is just 5 minutes end-to-end. And the result, as you can see, is an implant that opens up the prostate, and it's also covered inside the tissue, not prone to migration or incrustations. So animation is fun and nice. Anybody can draw animations. This is real results from the first-in-man study we had earlier this year. So on the right-hand side, you can see the before imaging. This is a cystoscope from our first patient. You can see the lateral lobes of the prostate almost touching each other. We call those kissing lobes. And this is the before inspection. And the after, mind you, is 30 seconds after we implanted our Omega implant. So this is the wide open prostate. You can even see the bladder neck right in front of you. But there are two things you can see here, and I want to note. And one of them is that you can see almost no bleeding. The reason is we use electrocautery, so we coagulate the tissue as we perform the implantation. The second thing you can see here is the implant, and this is the most impressive part because the implant is deeply embedded inside the tissue and will not suffer from incrustation. So our first implant study proved to be safe, effective, fast and simple, and we even practiced removal of this implant. It's very easy to grab it with a grasper and pull it out because of its flat ribbon-like shape. We launched our pilot study afterwards. That was a month ago for 12 months of follow-up in 4 different sites. Now, let's talk about the big 3, regulation, reimbursement, and IP. In terms of regulation, the FDA approach is pretty straightforward. There are many BPH solutions out there. So fairly simply, 150 to 200 patients, 12 months follow-up is enough to get FDA approval. And we already designed this study for next year. Dr. Jeff Dan, our reimbursement advisor, was also the reimbursement advisor for UroLift. He took one look at our device and said, listen, you guys are doing something unique. You use electrocautery, so you perform molecular surgery and you embed an implant. This will entitle you a much higher reimbursement code than all other competitors, including upcoming stents and UroLift. In terms of IP, we submitted over 10 different patents in 3 families, covering the unique implant for the prostate, which is one of its kind, the delivery device, and the implantation method. Some of those patents already were approved in the US and Europe. This is our team. We're 7 full-time employees in the north of Israel, very strong leadership team, very strong engineering management team. We do everything in-house in terms of designing our device. Half of the team is engineering, and now we're focusing more on QA, RA, and clinical trials. We have some stellar advisors in this team. They're all very distinguished doctors, but I want to point out a few. So Peter Gilling is a well-known physician who's an expert on BPH treatments. He will be our PI in the coming pilot study we just launched in New Zealand. We have Professor Klaus Ruben, who's the president of the Benign Prostate Disease Society from Texas. He wrote the guidelines for the American Urology Association of how to treat BPH. He's a very well-known expert in the field. And we have Dr. Dean Elterman from Canada, who's an expert on minimal invasive treatment, especially mechanical dilation of the prostate, working with all the stent companies and with UroLift. This is our roadmap. As I mentioned before, in 2023, we finished our first-in-man study successfully. We launched our pilot study. In 2024, we intend to finish our pilot study, approach the FDA, finish our V&V processes, and launch our big pivotal study at the end of the year, Q4 24. We're now looking for $5 million investment to help us cover this part of our journey, all the way through to start the US pivotal study for 15 sites, 150 to 200 patients. Next on, we will finish the pivotal study, and somewhere in the end, towards the end of 2026, we'll apply for the FDA marketing approval, getting ready for commercialization or M&A. This will require additional $20 million for the pivotal study support. So where will this bring us? If you note, there are 3 years, $25 million overall to get to FDA approval. So this is what it looks like when you get to that point. Those are some recent BPH M&A acquisitions deals in the field. So first of all, the most famous one, UroLift, was acquired for $1.1 billion in 2017, the first successful mechanical dilation of the prostate. Then you see those deals. Boston Scientific, Olympus, Laborie acquired companies in the same field. The most recent one, Laborie acquisition, was less than a month ago. They acquired Urotronic for $600 million. So the ballpark for those deals for solutions for BPH is $500 million. So 3 years from now, we are in a position for potential M&A. And if you note another thing here, you can see the distance between the FDA approval and the acquisition. So Olympus acquired Meditate with the iTind solution a few months after FDA approval, whereas Laborie acquired 1 month after FDA approval with 0 sales. So this is our potential. This is where we'll be in 3 years from now. And we're looking for the right partners to join us in this journey. Thank you very much.